By now, you may have gotten tired of hearing us talk about why the media needs to be independent. But hey, this isn't just a slogan, it's a warning. And events panning out in the southern state of Telangana shows us exactly why the media needs to be independent. In Telangana, 2 journalists were jailed for running a television news story built entirely on gossip. It had no documents, no evidence, and no named sources. And it ended up with journalists in jail and a raging political battle. Not a sting, not an investigation, just sleaze on prime time. And beneath that sleaze lies something far more dangerous, a supposed battle over business interests and power, fought using television studios as weapons. What's playing out in Telangana is not an isolated controversy. It's a textbook example of what happens when media houses are owned by politicians and businessmen, and journalism becomes collateral damage. I'm Pooja Prasanna, and let me explain. On January 7th, NTV, a Telugu news channel, aired a story. It did not name anyone, it did not show documents, it did not point to corruption. Instead, it relied on insinuation, hinting that a senior minister from Nalgonda had an inappropriate relationship with a woman IAS officer.
ఎవర సీనియర్ మంత్రివర్యులు మహిళా ఐఏఎస్ కు ఆయనకు మధ్య ఉన్నది ఎలాంటి బంధం?
No names were taken, but the hints were loud enough. This wasn't investigative journalism. This was pure sleaze, broadcast on prime-time television. The fallout was swift. The IAS Association lodged a police complaint. A case was registered, and 2 journalists from NTV were arrested. Though his name was not mentioned, Komatireddy Venkat Reddy, a minister in the Telangana cabinet, held a press conference. His response was emotional, almost desperate.
మీరు ఒకటే గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి, మీకు కూడా భార్య పిల్లలు ఉంటారు, అక్క చెల్లెలు ఉంటారు, దగ్గర బంధువులు ఉంటారు, మీ ఇంట్లో మహిళలు ఉంటారు. వాళ్ళను కూడా ఎవరైనా ఈ విధంగా మీ మీద అంటే మీరు ఎంత బాధపడతారో ఆలోచించుకోవాలి.
Now here's the question everyone began asking. Why would a news channel do this? Why risk arrest, backlash, and credibility for a story with absolutely no evidence? Now, 2 theories started circulating. One, that Revant Reddy, who's the chief minister, was targeting one of his own ministers using a channel. And another one was that some other minister was using the channel to settle some scores. Now, 10 days later, another powerful voice entered the conversation. Vemuri Radhakrishna, popularly known as RK. He's the owner of ABN Andhra Jyoti. In his weekly column and television show, RK made a serious allegation. He claimed that NTV's story had nothing to do with journalism. According to him, this was a proxy business war triggered by a fight over a coal block.
రాజకీయం, వ్యాపారం, జర్నలిజం అన్నీ కలగా పులగమయ్యాయి. ఒక బొగ్గు బ్లాక్ను దక్కించుకోవడానికి ఇంతమంది పోటీ పడడమేమిటి అన్న అనుమానం ఏర్పడడం సహజం.
To understand this claim, you have to look at who owns NTV. As of its last AGM in September 2024, 66% of NTV is owned by businessman Narendra Chaudhary Tumala, his wife, and their company Rachna Media. And nearly 23% is owned by Megha Engineering and Infrastructure Limited, or MEIL. Another 11% is held by the My Home Group. These are not just media investors, these are some of the biggest infrastructure and engineering players in the country. MEIL in particular was among the largest donors through electoral bonds, donating over 1,100 crores to political parties, mainly to the BJP. Narendra Chaudhary is a businessman who owns several media companies. MEIL recently acquired a thermal factory in Neyveli. Now look at the other side. Komatireddy Venkat Reddy's brother, Komatireddy Rajgopal Reddy, is one of Telangana's richest politicians. His family owns Sushi Infra and Mining, a company deeply involved in coal mining. So you have media owners with infrastructure interests on one side and a politically powerful mining family on the other. According to RK, the Flashpoint was a coal block owned by Singareni Collieries Company Limited, a coal company that's owned 51-49 by the Telangana government and the union government. Singareni is preparing to auction a coal block in Odisha. RK claimed that the Chaudhary family's interests were affected by Komati Reddy family, and this triggered the news story. He also alleged that Deputy Chief Minister Bhatti Vikramarka, who handles Singareni, was opposed to the Komati Reddys.
దీంతో సదరు సంస్థలకు ఫీల్డ్ విజిట్ సర్టిఫికేట్లు జారీ కాకుండా అధికారులను భట్టి విక్రమార్క కట్టడి చేస్తున్నారన్న భావం పోటీదారుల్లో ఏర్పడింది. ఈ పరిణామం భట్టి విక్రమార్క కోమటిరెడ్డి వెంకటరెడ్డి మధ్య విభేదాలకు కారణమయ్యింది. వెంకటరెడ్డి సోదరుడి కంపెనీని పోటీ నుంచి తప్పించడానికి చేసిన ప్రయత్నాలు ఫలించకపోవడంతో వివాదం ముదిరింది. వెంకటరెడ్డి వల్ల తమ లక్ష్యం దెబ్బతింటున్నదని భావించిన ఎన్టీవీ యాజమాన్యం రంగంలోకి దిగింది.
Now, if you are from Telangana or Andhra Pradesh, you must have heard of many theories that this is a proxy war between Chief Minister Revant and his ministers, that ABN is doing this story not out of virtue but because they support another mining company. Look, let's be very clear. These are all allegations. Even what RK said is an allegation. There is no documentary proof in public domain just yet. But even as allegations, they expose something deeply troubling. Because even if every single allegation here turns out to be false, the structure of these news organizations remains a real problem. Because when media houses are owned by people with mining interests, infrastructure contracts, political ambition, or proximity to power, journalism stops being a public service. It becomes a leverage. Now, here's where I pause and remind you that this is why week on week I have to tell you that the News Minute does not take money from any government or their proxy businessmen or any corporations. We run entirely on your support. If you value this kind of journalism, if you want to support the show, then scan the QR code on your screen and you can contribute any amount of your choice to support me and my team. Or you can click the link in the description below. In Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, we have seen a pattern of vested interests owning business organizations many times before. When governments change, advertising flows change. When power shifts, editorial lines shift and newsrooms quietly realign. ABN News is now batting for journalism. But ABN and Radhakrishna Vemuri have also been accused several times before of being a proxy for Chandrababu Naidu and his TDP. Look at this table. When TDP was in power between 2014 and 2019, 121 crores went to eNadu, a newspaper ideologically close to the TDP. 72 crores went to Andhra Jyoti and 30 crores to Sakshi newspaper owned by rival Jagan Mohan Reddy's family. And when Jagan's YSRCP was in power between 2019 and 2024, everything reversed. Family paper Sakshi got 371 crores, eNadu 243 and not a single crore to Andhra Jyoti. Now, if we go by this trend, it becomes very clear that this entire pattern would have reversed now that TDP is back in power. This is why all of this put together, it's a dangerous cocktail. So today, it's a minister or a bureaucrat being targeted. Tomorrow, it could be anyone who refuses to play along. This is the real danger of a captured media. Not fake news, not biases, but the slow conversion of journalism into a battlefield where truth doesn't matter, only who owns the weapons matters. If you're convinced that independent media is essential for democracy today, then what are you waiting for? If you're not already a subscriber of the News Minute and News Laundry, here's your chance. Scan this QR code and you can become a subscriber.